Hey everybody, Grant here. I'm going to be teaching you how to tie Dave's panic button today. It is a very effective fly for trout, salmon, and steelhead, especially in the spring and summer. You can tie it in any color variation. It's a very good platform for beginners since it's cheap, quick, and effective, and it's a very good confidence fly. Now our first step in this fly is going to be creating a little bump at the back here. I will take some of this Angora goat and make a little dubbing noodle. You don't need a lot. It's a little accent piece. Sorry if you can hear my birds in the back. They're loud today. Okay. And this isn't going to be wrapped forward at all. It's just going to be one on top of the other and just creating a nice bump for our other materials. And that little bit of hot spot. We're going to pull it back, come forward on it, wrap back into it just a little bit. Maybe about 5 wraps. 6 tight wraps. Okay, done with that step. Next step is going to be our UV polar chenille. I'm using a gold one today. I cut it into a 3-inch working length. I will trim off a portion of this up front so it looks pretty, because we need to tie in about 3/16 of an inch to a 1/4 inch of that corded part. I don't want any materials trapped up forward into the fly. This stuff's a little unruly sometimes. It doesn't like to comply. All right, begin tying that in. Start up front, work my way back. And come forward and create a nice thread base again. Okay, and now I'm going to be doing about 4 to 5 wraps of this. There we go. Had some materials trapped in there. Spin it. All right, 4 to 5 wraps. Close touching wraps. Put a little pressure on this to make sure you really get it seated nicely on the first one. And then increase forward, keeping those materials back so they don't get trapped. And we will do one more wrap, which will be 5. Brush everything back. I'm going to go under it one more time. Should get really nice and locked in. Take our thin scissors, trim as close as you can to the end of that material. We'll take all these loose fibers back. And secure them down. We'll go in between the first wrap and this, or the finishing wrap, and the second and last wrap to really make sure that this is nice and locked in. Okay, I'm happy with the way that looks. We have a nice cone. Next step, we will take a guinea large dot hackle. I have it pre-selected out of a fish hunter pack. You can use mallard, schlappen, pretty much any nice webby material to create a nice prop for our marabou. I like to take it and find the tip, hold it forward, and then we get a nice tie-in point. Just like that. All right, we'll tie it in. And we'll just be doing a couple turns of this. Wrap all the way up on it because we don't want it to spin later on. And then fold it back on itself. And then wrap it all the way back. Trim off our excess. Okay. Now what I like to do is take my scissors, grab the hackle, and preen those fibers back. Just run the blades along side and we'll train them backwards. Okay. Now that we have that situated, we will pull them back. A few fibers caught in that, so let's move this up here. Okay. Close touching spirals. It's not cooperating with me very well here, so do my best. I want all that material facing backwards. One more wrap. Okay. I will remove some of these fibers on the bottom so I can come back through here and easily wrap. Some of those got trapped, that's okay. All right. I always go one over the end of that stem on the feather to keep it locked in. Trim as close as you can on the bottom. Again, we're going to preen all of these back and lock it in. Create a nice thread base forward because our next step is going to be putting on the silly legs. Any fibers that got caught up near the front, I'm just going to trim them off right now. I'm using pumpkin UV purple flake. They go, try to do a 50-50 split. Tie them in right behind the eyes. Good reference point is I kind of like them hanging just behind the hook, and the hook is sitting about 1.5 inches back, so maybe this is 1 inch and 7/8 long or so. Okay. Some loose wraps there so we can still adjust it down. We want them hanging off the sides. Take our second one and do the same thing. Try to match length as best as you can. And a couple good secure wraps, so just this one. Okay. And then we're going to go all the way back to the start or to the end of our guinea hackle, create a nice base, and then we're just going to do a couple wraps of this marabou. I use the material clip only to hold these silly legs, put them back. In here you can get these material clips for 99 cents at pretty much any hardware store. I like using them, and then you just put a little O-ring, hold them onto your vise. Okay, I have a pre-selected olive brown barred piece of marabou from Montana Fly Company. Yeah, and I kind of take the end off so I have an easy place to hold it while I polymer it forward. I like to find the tip by pinching up here and just kind of pulling down. And then once you find your tie-in spot that you're happy with, that you're gonna get enough wraps out of, I have a little dish of water, and I will wet my fingers to keep that tip out of the way of the rest of the material here. Double it back on itself just like we did with the guinea. Not too tight of wraps, but they're just securing wraps. I'm not putting a ton of pressure on it. Okay. We're going to take this, preen these fibers back, and just do a couple wraps here. This way. This stuff is really unruly. That's 2 wraps. I'm gonna go for 3 to 4. All right, I'm happy with how that looks right there. So I'll take off some of this excess, so I have an easy tie-in point. So I'm just gonna bring that back around here. And then we're gonna have a very nice tie-off point. Okay, trim that as close as you can without cutting too many excess feathers off. Push everything back here. Come up and wrap back on it just a little bit. About 3 really tight wraps right at the base. Spin my vise. Make sure the bottom of it is looking good. Okay. And right behind the eyes, and then we're gonna take these silly legs put them back on themselves. Right behind the eyes. I'm telling you, right behind. Lock them down. Okay, nice and locked down. Take them, put them in the material clip, and get them out of the way for the rest of this process. Create a nice thread base. We're going to create a dubbing loop here. Before I do that, I'm going to get a pipe cleaner to keep our extra material out of the way. Black pipe cleaner right underneath. I got this from Cooper's video, and I've been using it ever since for every fly. And it's taken, I'm gonna grab everything all the way as far back as I can and just lock it. And now all that stuff's out of the way, and we can create a nice dubbing loop without worrying about getting our marabou trapped in it or any material. I do about a 4.5 inch to 5.5 inch dubbing loop. It's a little long for this. Spin it a couple times over itself. I'm going to bring it all the way to the front here, and then I wrap back on it. Okay. Take our dubbing tool. I use a Loon Ergo dubbing twister. I really like it compared to all the other ones. The OPST makes one that's really nice. There's a bunch of them. Everyone's going that way. Okay, we're going to take our thread all the way up front because we're going to end our dubbing loop right at the eye of the shank. Grab some two-toned cross-cut rabbit strips, black and olive. Get a piece to working length, 2 to 3 inches. Really, how it depends on how bulky your head of a head you want. This is a sculpin pattern, so I like a bulky head, and I have a craft mat right here with a measuring tape on it, and I just use that all the time to get super accurate lengths. What I've learned from a lot of my buddies is the more consistent you are with material handling and cutting, your flies will always look the same and they become a lot faster to tie. So consistency is perfect. So I always use rulers or Jerry French's composite loop card. Put the rabbit zonker in like that. Take some long scissors and cut as close as you can to the edge of the hide. Should look something like that. I like my heads a little bit longer, so you don't need a lot of butt on the end of rabbit. It holds in dubbing loops very well. I don't use wax. I don't use any water. It will stick in here. And that is my bird going crazy in the background. Spin it, pinch at the base, spin, slowly release pressure. Then I will take a cheap dentist pick tool from the dollar store, fantastic purchase, and I will slowly start going through and poking out this dubbing loop. Another great purchase for cheap is this hairline dubbing tool. You can use it like a stiff toothbrush as well. Well, this is only $2.50, and I like how has that little notch in there. And then we're just going to beat it up. We're going to treat this like a hackle. Okay. Wet our fingers just a little bit here. Preen it back at the neutral point. And we should honestly be able to, with how it looks super bulky, right? But it's not. You can see the thread through that. Take a couple of wraps first here. Get rid of that excess. All right. So about 2 to 3 wraps to start. 1 wrap. Close touching spirals. Keep that material back. 3 wraps on this one, it looks like. Perfect. We go up. Then we're going to take this and go over towards the camera. Brush back. And this is why I like having a rotary vise, because I'm going to flip my vise now. Go underneath here. Get our bobbin out of the way. And then we're going to do the last couple wraps just right in front. Take our bobbin, wrap over this a couple times. Trim off our dubbing loop. And then we're going to go back to about the start of our eyes. Okay. Now we are going to do a basic whip finish. I'm going to do like 5 to 6 turns. All right, a couple more steps here. After we trim this thread off, we will take that off. Get all this material out of the way real quick. We're going to trim up our legs. Front should be just a little shorter than the back. Actually, I already like the way the back ones are hanging off, so I'm not going to adjust that at all. Actually, a 50-50 split really worked well. If you do the 50-50, I guess, you know, I normally do a 60-40 split and I end up having to trim. If you get it 50-50 good, don't have to trim the legs up. I think they're a fantastic length right there. Take our dubbing comb, just brush everything out. Any fibers that were trapped are not going to be, we don't want them trapped anymore. Take that hot spot and kind of get a little fluffy back there. It's funky looking right now. All right, take this back. I brush these out a lot, so you don't have to, but I don't know. Maybe I just like brushing out flies. And there we go. We have a completed Dave's panic button. It's a very nice fly. Great swing fly, multi-species. Again, great pattern. Thank you everybody for watching. I will post a picture of it that is a nice picture at the end of the video. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments. And as always, tight lines.